October 13, 9:36 a.m. District Court Defendant Lobby Number 4. Und damit, BAM, Leute, und herzlich willkommen zurück zu Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Trials and Tribulations in der Episode 2, The Stolen Turnabout. Und wir sind im Gerichtssaal, mal wieder, alle Jahre wieder. Das ist so die Frequenz von diesem LP, ja, wahrscheinlich. Ja, wir sind hier im Courtroom und defenden unseren frischen Klienten, die Heulsuse hier, die Flüstertante, Opa, was auch immer. Ich habe den Namen vergessen, aber ich bin ja so schlau. Ganz kurz mal, ne? Ich muss hier, ich weiß nicht mehr, wie mein Klient heißt. Da ist er doch. Ron Delight, genau. A young man who turned himself in as Mask the Mask. A bit of a pitiful guy. Genau, das ist er. Also, er gesteht, er hätte es getan, aber er ist halt laut seiner Waifu hier, Desiree, ist er ein bisschen delusional. Also ein bisschen fanatisch, besessen von Mask the Mask, der Meisterdieb hier. Ja, und wir haben jetzt gesagt, ja, du, ey, ich glaub dir, Diggi. Ne? Gut, und dann wen haben wir noch? Hier, die Look at Me, Detective, der so richtig hart über den Kopf gebängert wurde, als der Dieb zugeschlagen hat. Also eine Lusche. Was haben wir noch? Adrian, die ist jetzt komplett am Arsch, weil die in Charge war. Und der Larry ist halt auch noch irgendwie da, ne? Der ist auch noch erschienen. So, genau. Perfekte Zusammenfassung. Hey Nick, what is it? Is something wrong? Nah. Did you see all the people here? It's crazy. Oh, so check out the Mask glossy I bought. You bought this? Where? From the little tents in front of the courthouse. They have all sorts of things for sale. You know I'm a sucker for this kind of stuff. Publicity photo. A shot of Mask the Mask striking a pose. That is evidence. Okay. Come on, I'm guilty. Throw the book at me. Her screaming like that. Ja, wer wohl? Oh, Mr. Wright, you made it. Darf ich nochmal kurz, das ist jetzt neu, ne? Okay, warum auch immer wir das als Evidence brauchen. Ja, aber, ja, Riesensack da, ne? Oder die Waldfee. Yeah, I did. But it doesn't look like things are going to get any less ugly for you. Because I did it. I'm the criminal. Me. He said it again. I said the calling card to Lordly Tail, I admit it. But you don't have the sacred urn, right? Well, that's true, but that doesn't mean that I didn't commit a crime. Normally when I say, of course you didn't, I'm being sarcastic, but you, yikes. Anyway, I admit that I'm guilty. So make sure they give me a guilty verdict, please. Oh, there you are, Ronnie. Bonjour, sweetie. Oh, Nessie, honey. Bonjour. Well, actually, I don't really know why I should be speaking French to you at a time like this. Leave it all to me, Ronnie. I swear I'll protect you. Well, you see, the thief is me. Can I tell you something, Nicky boy? I can guarantee that my Ronnie is innocent. If he's declared guilty, I'll be ever so cross with you. So why are you smiling when you say it? Well, if you excuse me, I've got some errands I need to take care of. I'm counting on you, Nicky boy. Good luck. Thanks. Honest, I really don't know whether Ron is Mask the Mask or not. But there's only one thing I am sure of. He doesn't have the sacred urn right now. Mr. Bullard, it's time for you to enter the courtroom. For the time being, I guess I'll have to trust Desiree. Tja. We will see. Courtroom number 6. Ach, und jetzt habe ich habe vergessen, ich habe letztes Mal, ich habe mich ja gewundert, wie man diesen weirden Namen ausspricht. Und ich habe es nach der letzten Aufnahmesession, habe ich extra nachgeguckt, aber habe es mittlerweile wieder vergessen. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Ron Delight. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Ja, er hier. What about the prosecution? Are you prepared to? What a stupid question. What did you say? Fine. Let me ask you then, Your Honor. Are you ready? Are you ready to pass judgment? No, I'm not. I will pass judgment after I hear arguments from both sides. Well, if you're not ready yourself, you shouldn't expect others to be. That's a rule to live by. Who are you? Ja. Wie spricht man das jetzt aus? Moment. I am Godot, glaube ich, oder? Godot? Godot? Godot. Ich glaube, es war Godot. Irgendwie so, keine Ahnung, Leute. Ist doch egal. Legendary prosecutor. I've never lost a case. Ah, he's the one that Detective Adney was talking about. Yes, your reputation precedes you. What kind of case have you dealt with so far? None. What did you say? I've never prosecuted a case before. Never? But you said you've never lost before. Exactly. I have never lost. I've never won before either. Quite arrogant for a beginner, aren't you? Even the mightiest of redwoods begin their lives as mere saplings. Yes, but a mask in a court of law? Don't you know anything? No matter the man, we all wear masks, either on our faces or over our hearts. This guy is the real deal, alright, Nick? Why does it seem like all prosecutors are the real deal? So, we finally meet Mr. Phoenix Wright. Nick, is he a friend of yours? No, I don't have any friends that call me Trite. Just who is this masked man? I've returned from the depths of hell to do battle with you. Well then, Prosecutor Gobo. It's not a Gobo, it's a Godot, Your Honor. In any case, please give your opening statement. Opening statement? Those things are not fit for even dogs to consume. I have only one thing to say before we start. To you, Mr. Trite. What is it? Are you familiar with the saying, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link? I wonder how much you can withstand before you and your case break in two. Well then, let's hear from the first witness. Thanks, Judge. Gumshoe, hey! My name is... No one has asked for your name, witness. The important thing is what you know, that's all. Start talking, we're listening. Yes, sir. Alright, witness. First, let's hear about what you know about the thief that stole the urn. Yes, sir. Alrighty. Mask the Mask's crimes. Mask the Mask is a master thief that first started his crime spree 6 months ago. He's so confident that he sends his calling card before he even commits the crime. This was his 5th heist, and as usual, he sent a card on to Lonely Taylor. His pattern is to always go after only the most precious art pieces. That's why you're sure it was Mask the Mask, sir. It fits his MO to a T. So then the actual identity of this Mask the Mask is... Mr. Godo, what are you...
We're in the middle of a trial here, Mr. Godot. Blacker than a moonless night, hotter and more bitter than hell itself. That is coffee. I'm sure you can grant me at least this much, Your Honor. Oh, please, proceed. Very well, it's only coffee after all.
What? You can't be letting him slide this early in the trial.
Proceed with your cross-examination, Mr. Wright.
Well, Nick, what are you going to do? As long as they haven't brought up Mr. Delette's identity, all we can do is show that it wasn't Mask the Mask who stole the urn. Okay. Aber es gibt ein Foto, warum sollte es dann nicht Mask the Mask sein? Naja, okay. Okay, ja, wir pressen. Have you been involved in the investigation from the beginning?
Yep, nobody knows more about the thief than me, pal. It's true, I'm a sorry author on thieves.
An author? He's written books about thieves? I think he's probably meant to say authority.
The fact that this guy can slip through even my fingers shows how good he's, pal.
It's easy when those fingers happen to be butterfingers. Press harder. So nobody knows more about the thief than you, huh?
You got it, pal. Except maybe for the thief's mom, that is.
But isn't there someone who knows even more about him than the police?
You don't mean Detective Svary, do you? Who is this person? Svary, he sounds German. His name is Look At Me, sir. I guess I shouldn't have made up such a silly name for him.
What the heck? I guess he's not all that famous after all.
Anyway, it's true that he did manage to retrieve the last item the thief stole. Oh, I see. It seems you're not the expert you claim to be. It looks like the thief is toying with me even now.
Oh. So, genau, ja? The calling card. Have you seen all of these so-called calling cards?
Of course I have. Except the person in charge of the treasure exhibit never brought their card to the police. So I didn't see this one until after the crime occurred.
That's because Detective Atme stopped Miss Andrews from taking it to the police.
Was the calling card that Lord Littell received authentic? Well, all the cards have one common identifying feature, but we're not releasing that information to the general public.
But you're absolutely certain that this card is real? I'm sure you can't say it out loud, but I bet he's talking about Mask the Mask's emblem. Warum soll das so ein krasses Geheimnis sein? Also, naja. Fifth heist. Yes. His fifth heist and your fifth screw-up, huh?
Objection, pal. That ain't fair. Maybe you could say it. I screwed up 4 times, but this last time wasn't my fault. I didn't know about the calling card this time.
You of all people shouldn't be chuckling about this, Detective Gumshoe.
I just want everyone here in the courtroom to know something. If you ever get a calling card from this guy, don't call it some stupid private eye. Call your local police right away, got me?
Wow, it looks like he's really got it in for Detective Atme. Okay, most precious art pieces. Wahrscheinlich ist es das, was sie drücken müssen. Art pieces like what, for example? Weil es halt nur eine dumme Urne ist. Ja.
Well, his first target was the famous tear of Ammonon. What's that? Some kind of especially salty teardrop? No, sir, it's a blue diamond. A single rare diamond. Next was the crown of Bongora, you know, the thing you put on your head. After that was the left hand of Hades, and then the portrait of Megina, sir. Detective Atman retrieved the portrait of Megina and returned it to the museum.
And the target of his fifth and last robbery was the sacred urn, right?
But isn't it difficult for him to dispose of such famous art pieces? Well, we assume he must have some underworld connections. Somehow, Mr. Delight doesn't look the type.
Yeah, he's a little too sunny to be hanging out in the underworld. So you sure it was Mask the Mask, sir? Okay. What do you mean when you say it fits his MO to a T?
I was thinking of asking the same thing myself. I wish you would listen a little more closely, pal. First of all, there's the calling card, we're 100% certain it's authentic. And there's the fact that he seemed to know all about the security system. And finally, his target was an art piece. These are all part of the thief's modus operandi. And so, since his robbery seems to fit all those conditions. That's right, it means that Mask the Mask is behind it.
Nick, this definitely looks like it was Mask the Mask who stole the urn. But there's no real evidence either way as to whether Ron Delight is Mask the Mask.
But...
Also, the urn hasn't turned up yet, let alone in connection to Mr. Delight himself.
So, even though we know it was Mask the Mask that did it,
maybe for the time being I should try to show it wasn't Mask the Mask that did it. Also, ich denke mal, this panel always go after the most precious art pieces. Ich glaube, ich muss es aber hier drücken, ne? Weil das stimmt ja, der Satz, nehme ich mal an, ne? Er geht immer für, ne? Und wir sagen jetzt, es ist also nicht sicher, dass er es ist, weil es nicht halt so ein geiles Stück Art ist, ne? Also ich drücke einfach mal das, ne? Ich habe ja genug Leben hier. Objection. Yes. Can I ask you a little something, Detective Gumshoe?
Just hearing that question is making me nervous.
You said that he always goes after the most precious art pieces, right?
That's right, pal.
But there's one problem. That's not what he did in this case. The supposedly priceless urn doesn't exactly rise to the level of precious art.
What do you mean?
Nick, how can you say such a terrible thing? No, I meant from a financial point of view. I mean, it wouldn't fetch a good price.
Well, Prosecutor Godot, what is the value of that urn?
Du hast ja schon ewig nichts mehr gesagt, Mensch.
The appraiser I spoke to said they couldn't attach a price to it. And I mean that in the worst sense.
So, in other words, it was not the kind of item that Mask the Mask would normally go after.
If I understand you correctly, Mr. Wright.
Ist übrigens mal so ganz nebenbei verdammt anstrengend. 3 verschiedene Räusper, also wie nennt man es, 3 verschiedene Kratzstimmen zu machen. Hier der Judge, hier einmal die alte Kratzstimme, Gumshoe die laute Kratzstimme und Godot die tiefe Kratzstimme. Das ist ein bisschen anstrengend. Also sorry, wenn nicht die ganze Zeit, ne? Peak Performance, also sonst natürlich immer, aber gerade, naja.
If I understand you correctly, Mr. Wright, you're saying that the theft of the sacred urn was not the work of Mask the Mask.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Actually, all I did was point out a contradiction the argument made itself, but...
Well, first of all, we need to get this issue cleared up. Was this last robbery the work of Mask the Mask or not? What do you have to say about this, Mr. Godot? This coffee here, it's my own special blend. I call it Godot number 107. I'm trying to decide whether to cut down the acidity or the bitterness. That's the only thing I've got on my mind right now, Mr. Wright.
What?
If you're really a man, you should clean up your own mess.
Sorry, but I don't get what you mean.
If you're saying it wasn't Mask the Mask that stole the urn, it must be someone imitating Mask the Mask's methods. A fake. A fake Mask the Mask.
Fake Mask? Fake the Mask? That sounds so ridiculous, but I like it.
Now, before I decide on my coffee, I believe some proof is in order, Mr. Wright. Proof that the person who appeared at Lordly Taylor that night was actually a fake. Though I don't approve of Mr. Godot's behavior, his point is valid. Mr. Wright, we're waiting.
Looks like I'm going to have to prove it. I need proof that the person at Lordly Taylor that night was in fact fake demasked. Wait, what? Moment, also wir haben ja die Security Camera hier, ne? Und das soll ein Fake sein. Ah, warte, ich habe eine Idee. Wir haben jetzt ein neues Foto bekommen. Hier das Promo-Foto. Das ist ja der richtige, ne? Und das heißt... Ah, Moment, ich glaube, ich habe es schon gesehen. Ich glaube... Er ist hier ein bisschen anders. Ja, er hat dieses... Keine Ahnung, was das ist. An seinem Hals, unter seinem Hals, da fehlt dieses Ding. Diese Sonne oder was auch immer das ist. Diese, ja, keine Ahnung, das Smiley Face da. Das ist auf jeden Fall anders. Ist noch was anders? Ich glaube, der Rest sieht einigermaßen identisch aus. Ich will einfach mal das drücken, aber ich weiß nicht, also gut, ich weiß nicht, welches ich drücken soll, welches Foto. Wahrscheinlich das Security-Foto, oder? The proof is right here.
This looks like a photo taken by a security camera.
But if you look closely, you'll notice something peculiar about it.
Well then, why don't you go ahead and show us what it is? Go on, use this pointer and show us just what...
Ja, okay. Ich drücke einfach mal hier hin, oder so. Hier so? Maybe? It's right here, of course.
You mean Mask the Mask?
I have here a piece of reference I would like the court to take a look at. Ah, okay. Ich konnte überall hinklicken, so wie es aussieht.
Isn't that a publicity photo I bought this morning?
Problem I have with the security camera photo is the brooch on the mask's chest.
A breach, here? Bailiff, get my steed, we need to retreat at once.
A brooch, Your Honor. It's sort of a clasp for holding one's cape on.
A clasp? I see now. But the Mask in the security camera photo... Ah! He has no brooch.
Brooch is the same as the emblem on the mask's calling card and serves as a symbol. Naja. Nur, dass das schwarz-weiß ist und das andere nicht, aber egal. But the thief that broke into Lordly Taylor wasn't wearing a brooch. In other words, this Mask the Mask is a fake.
I've been fooled again. Oh, order! It's true, undeniably true. Detective Gumshoe, how could you have overlooked this? I'm sorry, sir. I don't know how I... Hey now, if you're gonna have a pity party, invite me too. Mr. Godot, you deserve some blame in this too. How could you have overlooked such a large brooch? The brooch you're talking about. Do you mean this?
That's Mask the Mask's brooch.
Where did you find it? Well, I've always had a good nose for evidence. I got it at the crime scene. It was hidden in the shadow of a big female Buddha statue.
Buddha statue? Must mean the Army Faye statue.
Why didn't you tell me about that, sir? I always put evidence away in my pocket. After all, it's the safest place for crucial evidence.
This guy's one cool customer.
It's a little early to be shaken up, isn't it, little lady? That friend of yours left pretty little hick eyes on there too.
Hick eyes?
Figuratively speaking, of course, I'm referring to Ron the Lad's fingerprints. What? What? The defendant's fingerprints are on the brooch. Order in the court. Mr. Godot, let's see that brooch. I've grown attached to my metallic girlfriend here. Take good care of her. It appears to have been torn off of some clothing. There's a little bit of cloth left on the back. Obviously, there must have been a big struggle that night at the crime scene.
Uh-oh, Phoenix, we have a problem. The mask's brooch added to the court record, found in the shadow of Army Face statue. Looks like it was torn off of some clothing.
You mess with Godot, and you get burned.
He's been playing with me like a violin. He's playing me like a violin.
Well, Judge, I'm about ready to call my next witness. You're done with me? But I haven't proved anything yet. You've proven your own incompetence. That's good enough. That doesn't sound good at all. Bailiff, bring the next witness into the courtroom.
Finally time for the ace detective to make his appearance, huh? Bling!
1 second is one drip of the coffee pot. Let's hurry it up.
Shh! Shh! Silence! Now I see it's all becoming clear.
What's clear?
Savari! The truth has once again been elegantly revealed to me. What we have here is a judge and a prosecutor, a coffee maniac at that. Am I correct?
Well, yes, that's right. Not bad. Not bad at all. You're the first person that's ever been able to penetrate my secret veil.
Well, Sir Prosecutor, let me introduce myself. My name is Luke Atme, ace detective and rising star illuminating the heavens. Boy, these two make a perfect pair. They'd either be best friends or they'd tear each other's heads off.
I've heard that on the night of the crime you were all alone on security detail.
You have heard correctly. My specially made monocle is worth more than 100 Detective Gumshoes. Detective Gumshoe was worth anything, that is. Why was this guy all by himself anyway? There must be some reason, I'm sure of it.
Well then, tell us what this special monocle of yours witnessed.
Alrighty, what I witnessed. It was approximately 1 o'clock in the morning, just after the day changed. That's when my nemesis, the infamous Mask, dancingly descended upon me. Just as he began to turn, the coward struck a fierce blow upon my noble head. Darkness swallowed me before I could land a single strike. When I awoke, he was gone. 30 minutes later, I used an emergency phone to notify the police.
So you didn't get a clear look at the criminal?
My specially made monocle never misses a thing. However, this is limited to things that fall within my own visual range. But of course, that's only natural.
I fail to see why the witness seems so proud of his performance that evening.
Well, Sir Oldtimer, let me explain. We are not speaking of any ordinary thief. but the king of thieves, the great mask, my arch enemy. That is what my instincts and my years of experience tell me.
Very well. Proceed with the cross-examination, Mr. Wright.
Oh boy. Alright. Well, in the morning, that's when my nemesis danzigly descended upon me. Was soll das denn heißen? Danzigly descended. From where exactly?
Es ist also doch Max.
Well, from the entrance, I suppose. Where else? So in actuality, he neither danced nor descended. Someone please save me. So how is it that you didn't notice the thief? My eyes were looking for the thief's shadow while my ears listened for his footfalls. But even so, the dastardly criminal managed to sneak up on me. It can only be due to his subtly camouflaged cape and soft-soled shoes. I hereby dub you Ace Dunce. Blow. Ja, das wissen wir eigentlich schon. You didn't see the criminal's face when that happened. Well, that's the difficult part, how should I put it? I saw his mask, that's all I can recall.
That's not very solid as far as testimony goes.
However, fortunately I had my third monocle, the security camera at the ready. It captured his image perfectly. This should be sufficient, I believe.
Well, as long as this photo is authentic, I don't see a problem here. Well, Mr. Godot, do you have a problem with the photo?
Good, then let's continue with the testimony. Danke für den Hinweis. Darkness swallowed me, Attacked and knocked unconscious, and you weren't able to do a thing. That's certainly some very impressive detective work. Well, Sir Lawyer, have you ever been suddenly struck on the head? Huh? Well, actually, yes, by a fire extinguisher. And what happened? I was knocked out.
And you lost your memory too.
You see, you have no right to look down on me then, do you? The only reason I didn't lose my memory was because I will have more brains to begin with. You may have brains, but the wiring to the self-reflection part seems to be severed. In any case, that was how I was knocked senseless, and then... 30 minutes later, I used an emergency phone. About this 30 minutes, my silver cord was loosened and my soul fled to the golden halls of Elysium.
As usual, I have no idea what this guy is saying.
I think he's saying that he was out cold.
So, what happened during these 30 minutes?
No one can say, Your Honor. That span of time was truly vanished into the ether. Just what is he going on about?
There's something suspicious about Detective Adme. How could he not have noticed when the thief came in?
Also, he says he was knocked unconscious before he could fight back. But that can't be right. It contradicts the evidence.
Huh? What piece?
The real question is, why would he tell such an obvious lie? Wait, was? Da ist... Es gibt was Offensichtliches? Warum sollte er es mitbekommen haben? I don't know. Wait, was? Moment, ich drück das nochmal. So that would be 1 o'clock on the morning of the 12th, correct? That's an impressive deduction, Sir Lawyer. You were on security duty that night. Where exactly were you at the time? penetrating question. I was in the basement warehouse near the computer. Okay. Near the computer, huh? So then, you weren't trying to remain hidden, I take it? Up to this point, I have tried to remain concealed while waiting for the thief. Yeah, he said the same thing yesterday too. Gumshoe also said that they've never spotted the thief at the crime scenes before. Precisely, that is precisely why I chose not to hide last night. I knew that by not concealing myself, I would be putting pressure on the thief. Looks like the thief was the one applying pressure on your pigeony head, that is. In any case. Also er war beim Computer. Before Single Strike. Also laut Phoenix muss ich ja, glaube ich, hier was drücken, ne? Ich will das nochmal gucken. How could he not have noticed when the thief came in? But it can't be right. It contradicts the evidence. Ja, also Phoenix meint hier, ne? Ich glaube, ich bin gerade einfach nur übel dumm. Oder? Ich presse das nochmal. Attacked and knocked unconscious and you weren't able to do a thing. I don't know. Hä? Bin ich irgendwie dumm? Was für ein offensichtliches Evidence? Das Schwert oder keine Ahnung. Ja gut, man könnte sagen, er musste erstmal das Schwert holen. Und wie zur Hölle konnte er das nicht mitbekommen? Muss er erstmal durch den kompletten Raum latschen, um das Schwert zu holen und ihm dann wieder zurück zum Computer, und ihm eins über die rüberhauen. Vielleicht das? Nee. I have no idea. Camera Data? Ich bin echt planlos gerade. Was zum Fick? Oh, I see. Oh. Okay, ja gut. Habe ich überhaupt nicht mehr dran gedacht. Hier, it was torn off of some clothing. Das heißt, es hat einen Kampf gegeben. Okay. Gut, es war neue Evidence, die kannte ich noch nicht, ne? Mr. Adney. Could you take a look at this with that special molecule of yours? Aha, this belongs to the criminal mastermind. My arch nemesis, Mask the Mask. It is, in point of fact, Mask the Mask's brooch. It was found on the floor of the basement warehouse. I wonder how that happened. Ha! Elementary, my dear lawyer. Obviously it wasn't glued on well enough. Not quite. It clearly shows signs of having been ripped off a piece of clothing. Ripped off? Aha! We can only deduce that the thief struggled with someone that night. That's the only thing I can think of. And there's only one person that was in the position to have a struggle with the thief. The only person that was on security duty that night. You, Detective Adney. Detective Atme, you must have fought with the thief that night. So, why did you lie in your testimony to the court?
Witness, giving false testimony is a serious crime.
No. Wait just a moment, Sir Old-Timer.
Don't talk to me like I'm living in a nursing home.
I just remembered, Your Honor. I was just confused because I've been dealing with so many cases lately.
The true measure of a man is the amount of work he does. That's what I always say.
Nick, you can only handle one case at a time, isn't that right? You talk too much.
Witness, so are you now saying that you and the thief fought? Hold on, that's quite enough, Your Honor.
Excuse me?
Save the big questions for the testimony. That's one of my rules.
Indeed, I understand. Look at me, agree completely. Fight with the thief. Indeed, it's true that I looked away from the door for a brief moment. However, Look at me cannot be so easily discombobulated. Unfortunately, the thief grabbed the weapon from the side and rendered me senseless. A true gentleman fights only with his own fists, but they were not enough. His first blow struck me, bam! That's all she wrote.
So in the end, you did catch a glimpse of Mask the Mask?
Correct. It was during his third crime that he struck me from behind. It seems that my memory has become a tad jumbled, so to speak.
Well, that's certainly understandable.
No, it's not.
I myself always get confused about which testimony goes with which case.
That can be good. Okay. I looked away for a brief moment. Okay. So why did you look away from the door anyway? In addition to the camera, I had prepared a variety of other sensors as well. The alarm on one of those had gone off, so I had to check the data. That's why I went to the computer, elegantly, of course. So you were momentarily vulnerable when you were working on the computer. What should I do? Should I ask some more questions? Sure. About the computer, about the sensor. What kind of sensors are you talking about? There are other places in the basement that someone could enter and exit from. There are air conditioner, ducts, sewer pipes, and a cat door as well. I hooked up heat detecting in infrared and ultraviolet sensors to each of them. That's a lot of hardware. Was it all yours? Lordly Taylor department store was kind enough to provide the monitoring hardware. Naturally, the security camera that took the photo belongs to them as well. In other words, he couldn't have rigged the equipment, huh? Has that cleared up any doubts you had about me, Sir Lawyer? Ich will aber noch gerne das andere pressen. About the computer. So did that computer belong to Lordly Taylor as well? Correct. Well, except for the program that manages the data. That was specially designed by me. Look at me. In that case, he could have easily manipulated the data. What's wrong, Sir Lawyer? Okay. Can I be discombobulated? Yeah. Unfortunately, the thief grabbed the weapon. What do you mean by weapon from the side? Naturally, that thief had no idea what Look at me, was hiding in the area. He grabbed the sword from the statue that was standing by the door to the warehouse. Sword? You mean the sword that was all twisted like a tree branch? Correct. Fortunately for me, the blade was not sharp.
Okay, so he is talking about the Shishito. So the thief armed himself with a sword. And what about yourself, witness?
Only with fists, they were not enough. You had that much faith in your own fighting abilities? But of course, in college I was second in charge of the boxing club.
I'm sorry if I failed to find that appropriately impressive.
However, my opponent in the ring this time was my arch nemesis, Mask the Mask. This guy is a real piece of work.
Bam, and that's all she wrote.
Can you tell us a little more about what happened? My opponent was both powerful and vicious. You might say he was powericious. Powericious? I assumed he had me fighting stance, but suddenly, but a sudden flash of light blinded me. That, of course, was checkmate. My opponent had bested me.
What do I do now? Should I ask more about this? You were blinded?
So what was this flash of light that blinded you? I was bathed in the golden light that seemed to come from the statue of the woman.
The statue of Ami Faye, I'm guessing. Well, that wasn't very much help at all. Well, what do you think, Nick?
Well, there is one thing that I'm absolutely sure now.
Yeah, what is it?
Just look at me, guy. He's definitely hiding something. Wow.
But why?
I think I'm starting to figure out what really happened that night. And about the true nature of this detective. Kann ich nochmal das letzte, auch wenn es irgendwie nicht so relevant zu sein scheint. Aber die unrelevanten Sachen sind meistens misleading, also dass sie trotzdem relevant sind. At me fighting style. Let's hear it. What is this at me fighting style? I'm sorry, but that's a trade secret. I really can't say anymore. But I suppose I can tell you if I absolutely must. The main thing is to put your back to the wall. That way no one can get behind you. That's it. That's the at me fighting style.
Well, Mr. Wright, what about the testimony?
Of course, it was very important. Vor allem, wenn du mich fragst, Judge, ist es immer wichtig. Of course it's important. We've learned a detective's secret technique after all.
Yes, indeed. I'll remember to use it if I ever take a walk alone at night.
Why the heck is he eyeballing me like that? It's creeping me out.
Now then, witness. We'll go ahead and add that secret information to your official testimony.
Okay, I put my back to the wall to fight, but the thief's blow landed upon my third eye. Ist das so? Na gut, also es widerspricht zwar hier dem hier, aber das Ding ist, das ist ja, glaube ich, sein Testimony hier. Also er hat uns gesagt, dass er am Hinterkopf ausgenockt wurde, oder? Das waren, glaube ich, seine Worte. Aber offensichtlich ist das eine Contradiction. Ich presse es mal. Detective Abney, your testimony is crumbling like a house of cards. What fun this is, Sir Lawyer. It is truly a pleasure to cross swords with you. And now, once again, you have thrown down the gauntlet at my armored feet. I believe this is what you said yesterday. Amy's sent testimony, yeah. No, the coward must have wormed his way in through somewhere besides the door. Then my arch nemesis struck me on the head from behind with this gruesome item here.
From behind, huh?
But just now you testified that he struck you on the forehead. I hardly think he could forget why you were hit on the head. It seems I've made another mistake. Detective Adme, that's not the only strange part of your testimony.
What do you mean by that?
For example, the very fact that you hid the calling card from the police itself is strange. It's almost as if you were afraid they were going to help with security. Geniuses such as myself have always been misunderstood. How sad. That's wrong. Oh, hi. To err is human, to forgive divine. Humans aren't machines. They have souls, feelings. They live, they die. They love, they hate. And yes, they even make mistakes. Hey, hold on, it's not as pretty as that. Alter, was war das für Kaffee?
Really? What is it like then? Always chase a riddle down to the end. That's one of my rules.
This is it. This might just be my chance to turn things around.
Mr. Wright, what exactly is that you're asserting?
Very well, Your Honor. The defense asserts that Mr. Atme is no ace detective. Mr. Atme is a fake. Mr. Atme is Mask the Mask. Ja, ist schon ein bisschen suspicious, ne? Dass er alles hier alleine macht und ganz mysteriös konnte er den Dieb nicht schnappen und ne, dies, das. The answer is simple. It's all clear to me now. Detective Luke Atme's true identity is actually Mask the Mask. Yark! There we go, with the music.
Order in the court, Mr. Wright. What is the meaning of this?
There are too many unnatural parts to Mr. Atme's story. He says he was hiding at the crime scene, which is why no one ever saw him there. And then in his last case, he manages to outperform Detective Gumshoe and the entire police force to miraculously retrieve the stolen treasure. That's because I analyzed the crime scene data and made an exquisitely elegant deduction. I picked up clues that the police overlooked in order to arrive at the... Oh please, the explanation is far simpler than that, Detective Atme. The truth is that you are, in fact, Mask the Mask.
But, Mr. Wright, this photo, it clearly shows Mask the Mask.
Ja, es kann ja... Wobei, diese Nase, die kann er unmöglich unter dieser Maske verstecken. Alright. Contradicted. Scheiße.
The security camera belongs to Lord Taylor Department Store. You shouldn't have been able to manipulate it.
He didn't need to manipulate it. He gained access to the warehouse under the pretense of providing security. Then he simply dressed up as the thief and stole the urn.
So, the ace detective is actually an ace thief. Is this true, witness?
Aha! Bling! The Mask's MO is pure genius, and so am I. Look at me, ace detective. You're very clever to have come to such a conclusion. I am impressed, Sir Lawyer.
What? Witness, you're admitting it? Nick, now's your chance.
Yes, time to put the last nail in this guy's coffin. Detective Atme, when you assume that...
Godot blend number 102. My personal favorite. Mr. Godot! The ace detective is actually an ace thief. I smell a best-selling novel. There's only one problem. It simply isn't true. But Mr. Godot, Mr. Wright has made some very strong points, and I will admit, my opponent has woven a compelling narrative out of a whole cloth. But it is, in fact, nothing more than a patchwork guilt, Mr. Trite.
Quilt.
If this detective really is the thief, then show us the proof of your claim. But it had better be as hot and as perfect as the coffee dripping down your face.
Well, Mr. Wright, don't you stand there.
This court would like to see this decisive proof you have, quickly.
Huh? Oh, yes, of course.
What's the big rush? Are you alright, Nick?
Admin looks pretty rattled right now. I'd like to finish this right now if I can. But can I really do it? The decisive evidence that proves Mr. Look at Me is in fact Mask the Mask is right here, has yet to be found. Hat das eigentlich... Nee, hat keine Fingerabdrücke, ne? Was heißt Fingerabdrücke? Wir haben es ja... Wir haben es ja gar nicht. Ist ja immer noch missing. Hat das Fingerabdrücke? Nee, ne? Warum hat das keine Fingerabdrücke? Wenn es weggerissen wurde, dann müssten da doch Fingerabdrücke drauf sein. I mean, come on. Haben wir proved, dass er es ist? Ich weiß immer noch nicht, was es mit dem Farbfleck auf sich hat. Und der Statue, die gemoved worden ist. Moved the night of the crime. Und zwar hier in dem Foto ist ja schon gemoved, ne? Das heißt, sie wurde vor dem Crime gemoved. Also bevor dieses Foto gemacht wurde. Ich glaube nicht, dass wir irgendwas haben, das irgendwas beweist. Ich drücke mal, has yet to be found. Proof? Of course I've got nothing.
Huh. Just what I thought. A man has to hold his head up high, no matter how bad things get, after all. I see. I thought perhaps you had some evidence to back up your assertion. This is no good. I've got to stay on the attack. I'll never get another chance to prove that this guy is the thief. Don't give up, Nick. Think harder and try again. It's no good. I'm just not ready yet. But are you going to just give up and let us lose this?
Habe ich das Falsche gedrückt?
So, you've come to your senses, have you, Sir Lawyer? I can't think of a counterattack at all. It seems that the cloud of suspicion surrounding this witness has lifted. Mr. Godot, if you have anything further... Who? Hi. Who are you? That doesn't really matter right now, does it?
Miss Delight, what are you doing here?
Nicky boy, the thing you've been looking for. I think I found it. You mean that bag? No, not the bag. What's in the bag? Well, that's the sacred urn. Nick, it's the urn.
Okay.
Order! You, madam. That urn, where did you find it? You'll never believe it. It was in the office of Mr. Fancypants, a detective. Look at me.
Oh, Desi, you're the best. Okay. Oh, und das glauben wir ihr jetzt einfach mal so, ne? Na gut. Sacred Urn found in the office of Look at Me has pink splotches all over it. Okay. Well, how do you explain that one, Mr. Atme? Even you are going to have a hard time weaseling out of this one.
Huh. Pathetic. Mr. Godot, do you have something you wish to say? Yes, Your Honor. It simply amazes me how quickly times change. In the old days, a man was to be taken at his word. It's truly sad. You're still denying that Mr. Atme was involved? Before casting aspirations at the detective Abney, consider the young lady here. Your name is Desiree. Desiree Delight, is that correct?
Yes, what about it?
How charming. The lengths that a woman is willing to go to save her husband is truly inspiring.
What are you insinuating?
As the wife of the criminal, you could have discovered that stolen urn anywhere, including the office of the good detective here. So, you found the urn. What does that prove? It certainly doesn't prove where the urn was before you found it.
What? I just brought it here from the detective's office. Yeah, he's got a point.
Please, madam. This town is already filled to the brim with lies. Any more could compound the tragedy we have been witness to.
You're wrong. I would never do such a thing. Mr. Light. Please, Nicky boy, you've got to help me talk some sense into these people. There must be some way. I've got to prove that Earl was actually in the Acme Detective Agency. Also wir haben es ja gesehen, die Tasche. Aber es stimmt schon, ja, so kannst du nicht einfach herkommen und sagen, hey, ich hab das da gefunden, yo. Testify about what I saw, show fingerprints on the urn. I can't prove anything yet. Gut, also er hat ja wahrscheinlich Handschuhe an, also Fingerprints werden es wohl nicht sein. Testify about what I saw. Ja, ich meine, wir können das machen, ob es was ändern wird, aber ich glaube, das können wir sicher mal machen.
What's wrong? Isn't it your job to come up with something to say?
Nick, come on. It should be easy to prove. After all, we checked out that bag, didn't we? You're right. I remember doing that. Whatever was in there, it was hard and round and smooth too. Yes, it must have been the urn. It must have. But I never actually saw it with my own eyes. Atme walked in just when I was about to have a look at it. So even if it was the urn in there, I can't testify that it was. Ah, you're right.
Looks like I was wrong about you, Mr. Wright. In this town overflowing with lies, there's still a single flickering candle of truth.
Nicky boy! Well, it's true that I never actually saw the urn, but maybe I can still testify about it from another angle.
What about it, Mr. Wright? Have you given up yet?
There must be some way. I've got to prove that urn was actually in the Acme Detective Agency. Ja, dann muss es ja das sein. I can prove where the urn was by the fingerprints on it.
Fingerprints, eh?
Oh, come now. Now you're really making me laugh, Sir Lawyer. Fingerprints indeed. May I go on? Good. Now, it would be perfectly understandable if my fingerprints were on the urn. After all, it was I who was guarding the urn in the first place. In any case, I am always in the habit of wearing gloves, as you can see. So, unfortunately, my fingerprints wouldn't be evidence of anything.
What about it, Mr. Wright? This witness's fingerprints would mean nothing anyway.
Nick, what are you going to do now? I've come too far to turn back now. Atme must have brought the urn back to his office yesterday. And there, I'm sure someone must have left their fingerprints on it. Someone, aha! The defense proposes that the fingerprints of this person should be on the urn. Oh, you see, Me, what more can I say? This is my third year as a young but skilled lawyer. Yeah, my own fingerprints are on there. Aber ist das Beweis genug? So, what is all this fuss about fingerprints anyway? Mr. Adme, do you recall the events of yesterday?
Hey, Nick, come on, open it up.
Hey, wait a minute, we can't just open his private property.
Don't be such a fuddy-duddy, this is important investigation. Well, what's in there?
Hang on a sec, I'm taking it out now. Lass es ruhig drin, Phoenix. Maya ist noch nicht volljährig. Whatever it is, it feels kinda... Phoenix, lass stecken. Well, hello there. Oh Gott. Jetzt wird's ein Dreier. Oh shit. Maya war traumatisiert an dem Abend. It's true that I didn't get a chance to look in the bag at the time, but I did touch what was inside. What? You touched it? And I remember it very well. It was... Phoenix, bitte nicht im Gerichtssaal. It was smooth and hard. Well, that was just... Your Honor, I'd like the court to examine the fingerprints on that urn. If my fingerprints are on there, then it proves that the urn was in Detective Adme's office.
Well, even if your fingerprints are on the urn, it still doesn't prove when they were put on there, does it?
Of course it does.
What did you say?
It's not what I say, but what Adrian Andrews, the person in charge of the exhibition, said.
I polished it until it was just about glowing. I thought maybe I could make it look more valuable.
If she polished it that much, she would have removed any and all fingerprints on it. And the only chance I had to get my fingerprints on it after that was yesterday at the Adme Detective Agency.
Ha! This blend. Good old blend, number 107. I've decided. It's a little too bitter after all. Order! I accept the defense's request. Bailiff, take this urn and...
Wait a moment, Your Honor. There's no need for that.
No need, you say?
Precisely. I already know Mr. Wright's fingerprints are on the urn.
What are you saying?
Yes, I've finally broken it down. I don't think you did. Oder doch? Alter, der Blick. Take a good look, everyone. Unable to find a rival worthy of my genius, I was forced to create one by myself. Here I am, the tragic clown.
This guy is nuttier than a fruitcake.
You see, it was me all along. I am the one and only Mask the Mask. I hope y'all enjoyed my little performance. Okay.
Well, Mr. Godot, what's Mr. Adme's condition? He's still in the lobby, laughing insanely, Your Honor. I wish I could enjoy the joke as much as he seems to be.
Well, it looks like the matter has been settled. Jetzt schon?
I came perilously close to besmirching the record of an innocent young man. Besmirching him with the title of thief. Nick, you're alright after all.
Yeah, I guess Mr. Light really wasn't a thief.
Court finds the defendant, Mr. Ron the Light.
You're wrong, I tell you. I mean, not exactly wrong so much, but actually not right is what I was really trying to say. Oh no, he's not. This can't be happening. The thief, the sneaky office thief, who've been stealing all the treasures. It's me, I'm him, I'm the one you want, I'm the thief, I tell you.
So do it. Pronounce me guilty, please. I don't know what kind of a kangaroo court you all think this is, but the true identity of the thief has already been proven. Please hurry and pass the judge. What are you talking about? I already confessed. I'm the thief, I tell you. Something is going on here. Mr. Godot, judges stand there drinking coffee. Hey there, Mr. Thief. Yes, sir. If you're really a man, then clean up your own mess. I'm sorry, I'm afraid I just don't have any idea what you mean. If you are mask to mask, then prove it. That's what it means. Yes, sir, I'll be happy to. He says he'll be happy to, Nick. It's kinda cute. He's 100% committed to his fantasy. A good boy. Just remember one thing. A boy only gets one chance in his life to become a man. I know that. I won't fail, I swear. Okay then. Talk. We're all listening. Oh, well, that's all I have to listen to this confession. Okay. The truth is, I've been Mask the Mask all along. I mean, you can't prove that I'm not actually Mask the Mask, can you? I don't have an alibi for the night the car was stolen, after all. I donned my costume and that night and intensely descended upon the scene of the crime. Look, you can see, right there in the photo, that's me. As for my brooch, I snagged it on the door handle and it got torn off, that's all. I don't like the direction this trial has taken. But this is how every trial goes, at least with me anyway. Naja, noch nie hat ein Klient sich selbst, hier, naja, ne? You're doing great. Just stop it, Mr. Godot. You're embarrassing me. Like I said, you're only going to get one chance to testify, alright? What if you make it through this with flying colors? I'll keep my promise too. I'll make sure you stay locked up in prison as the one and only true Mask to Mask. Thanks so much, Mr. Godot. I'll do my best. Alright, Mr. Wright. I'm afraid it's time for the cross-examination.
Okay. Mask to Mask all along. Okay. You can't prove that I'm not Mask to Mask, can you? Ja, faktisch gesehen nicht, ne? Ich drück mal. I thought you were going to be the one to show us the proof. You know, that you're the real Mask to Mask and not just some kind of obsessed fanboy. Hey, now, that's not fair. Why do we have to do all the hard work anyway? Maybe because you're the one making the outrageous claim for a change. Come on, Nick. You know that Mr. Delight couldn't have committed a crime. You're the one with the fancy law degree. It's time to put it to work already. I need some kind of proof that Ron couldn't possibly be Mask to Mask. Well, I guess if you had that kind of proof, we wouldn't still be here, would we? For the time being, maybe I need to shift strategy. I should try to show that Mr. Delight couldn't have stolen the urn. Proof that he couldn't have stolen the urn. Wait a minute. Ron's wallet found in the KB security building at around 1 AM at the night of the crime. Das heißt, er war im KB security building und nicht an der crime scene. Das könnte er machen. Muss ich es hier pressen? I have an alibi. Das hier ist doch das Alibi, oder? Oder... Ich glaube, ich drücke das lieber hier, oder? Yes. Mr. Delight, this wallet belongs to you, correct?
Ah, yes, it does. I had lost it somewhere. Mr. Wright, when you find a wallet, you should report it to the police right away.
No, you don't understand. This is an important piece of evidence.
Evidence?
Mr. Delight, when did you first notice that you'd lost your wallet?
Let's see. I think it was on the night of the crime. But I know I still had it when Tessie and I went out for dinner.
This wallet was found at approximately 1 a.m. at KB Security headquarters.
What? Surely you're not serious.
Yes, I am serious. This proves that Mr. Delight was in fact at KB Security that night.
No!
So if the defendant was at KB Security at 1 o'clock in the morning, then that proves that he has a watertight alibi.
No!
Warum ist er so dagegen? Furthermore, considering the distance between Lordly Taylor and KB Security, it would have taken 30 minutes to get there by car. According to Larry, anyway. Irgendwas geht hier vor sich.
Well, Mr. Godot, do you have anything to say? And stop drinking that coffee.
Come on, Mr. Thief. Don't let this guy beat you. Tell him why he's wrong.
You're the only one who calls me thief, Mr. Godot. Alright, I'll try. I'll do it. I will.
He's really got Mr. Delight all worked up. Yeah, he's like a kid at his first day of school.
Look, it's just ridiculous. Why would I have dropped my wallet at KB Security? Someone must have planted it there to make it look like I was there and not at the heist.
Planted it there? He's really reaching now. Mr. Delight, you probably dropped your wallet when you took it out to use this, didn't you? The keycard to KB Security CEO's office.
No.
That was a pretty good try, Mr. Trite. Unfortunately, you've overlooked one small thing.
What?
Motive, of course. Why would this thief go to KB Security in the middle of the night anyway?
Well, Mr. Wright, looks like you need some more evidence after all.
Stupid kid.
Now then, let's see your evidence. The evidence that shows why Mr. Delight went to KB Security at 1 a.m. that night.
War das der Blackmail letter? If you don't want your true identity revealed to the world, come to KB Security at 1 a.m. Bring $50,000. If you don't, I'll take that red diamond you received the other day instead. That red diamond? Welcher Red Diamond? Ja, aber wahrscheinlich das, ne? Haben wir noch was anderes? Nee, ne? Ich werde mal das machen. Mr. Delight, I believe you've seen this before, correct?
That's... What is it?
A blackmail letter. That's what it looks like from the contents.
Blackmail?
Yes, basically it says bring $50,000.
That certainly sounds like a blackmail, alright.
At the time of the theft, Mr. Delight was dealing with the blackmailer himself, in KB Security's CEO office, a full half an hour away from the scene of the crime.
No. Order! So, when the theft of the urn occurred, the defendant was at KB Security. It looks like a perfect case for the defense.
You may see it as a perfect case, Judge, but to me...
Well, let's just say that my Godot blend number 107 impresses me a lot more.
What are you trying to say?
You say the thief was being blackmailed by the CEO of a security company. But did you actually investigate the CEO at all?
Huh? Well, no, I guess not.
Accusing a man of blackmail with no proof. I'm not sure what I think of that.
Not sure what I think of that. At least I know what I think of you.
Good point. I'm not sure what I think of it myself. You claim that the defendant entered the CEO's office, but you will need at least one witness to corroborate your claims, right?
Nick, I think we're going to have to track down the CEO guy. No, we don't have to track down the CEO at all.
What do you mean by that, Mr. Wright?
There is someone else who can testify. This is the person who can testify that the keycard was used at 1 AM that night. Yeah, Larry.
Who is this useless-looking young man?
You don't remember him, Your Honor?
Not exactly. But just looking at his picture makes the bile start to rise in my throat.
What the fuck? Okay, poor Larry.
It looks like he doesn't remember the case from 2 years ago.
Probably blocked out that memory on purpose. Anyway, this man was working as a guard at KB Security that night.
Oh?
The question at hand is this keycard. Yup, that's the keycard I used in the building I work. According to the serial number, this one is for the CEO's office. You need to get into that room, and every time you use that card, it leaves a record. Yeah, it tells you exactly who entered the room and when. As you can see, there is no need to investigate the CEO of KB Security. You should be able to discover the truth simply by analyzing this keycard's data. Okay.
Well, Mr. Godot. The name of the CEO of KB Security is Cain Bullard. I was unable to contact him directly, but I got the keycard data here. So what does it show? Each keycard has its own serial number, and I leave detailed records of their use. According to this data, this card was used at 1 AM on the morning of the crime.
Okay, used on October 12th, the night of the crime at 1 AM.
But that means it can't be Mr. Delight dressed as Mask the Mask in this photo. Looks like you're right. 2 minutes isn't even enough time to brew a good cup of joe.
So then...
Ron Delight was clearly in the office of KB Security's CEO at the time of the crime. The prosecutor's office is ready to admit that fact. Therefore, it's impossible for the defendant to be Mask the Mask.
Good job, you did it, Nick.
That's enough. Came perilously close to besmirching the record of an innocent young man, besmirching him with the title of thief.
What's wrong, Your Honor?
I'm ready to pass judgment, but before I do that, do you have any further objections?
No, Your Honor.
Very well. The court finds the defendant, Mr. Ron Delight,
not guilty. Auch wenn nicht so glücklich darüber scheint.
Court is now adjourned.
October 13, 2:24 PM, defendant lobby number 4.
Nick, you did it! You're right after all.
Well, that was easy.
Actually, I'm a little bit ashamed of myself. Nicky boy!
Oh, Mr. Light.
I knew you could do it. I believed in you all along, Nicky boy. I don't know how I can ever repay you.
Aw, shucks. Thanks, Mr. Light. Just know I'm blushing.
Congratulations, Mr. Nick.
Oh, pearls! I've got a bad feeling about this.
Who's this woman?
Oh, she's nobody. She's just,
You're blushing. How dare you do this in front of Mystic Maya? You should be ashamed of yourself.
Ouch! You slapped me.
Pearly?
This woman is Miss Desiree Delight. She's our client's wife.
Mr. Nick,
Yes?
you're even worse than I thought. Going behind the back of your own client.
No, you've got it all wrong.
I never forgive you.
Ow! Double slap. Well, anyway, all's well that ends well, right? Got the sacred urn back and the thief has been caught. Just so right, and it's all thanks to Nicky Boy here. But actually it was you, Mr. Light, that brought us our urn back. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Oh, please, you're embarrassing me. If we won the case, then why does this guy still look so glum? But I am the thief. Actually, what's the point now? What is it, honey? I did my best for you, Ronnie. I know that I appreciate it, Tessie. But the thing is... Come now, give the kid some time. He's just got a little touch on the blues. You know about feeling blue, right, amigo? Mr. Godot, what are you doing here? Oh, come on. I just came here to say thanks to my newest buddy. You, Mr. Trite. Maybe you should learn my name before you call me buddy. Well, playtime is over. Huh? Early this morning, the body of Cain Bullard was discovered. Cain Bullard? Where have you heard that name before? Isn't that the name of the CEO of KB Security? Wait, body? The estimated time of death was 1 a.m. on October 12th. 1 a.m. on October 12th? You don't mean... That's right, amigo. At the same time that a cheap little urn was being stolen, the CEO of KB Security was being murdered. So then, what are you doing here? Oh, come on. You figured it out already, haven't you, amigo? Or have you already forgotten about that piece of info I helped you out with today? Help me out? What? On October 12th, at 1 o'clock in the morning, Ron the Light was in the CEO's office, the scene of the murder. After getting that blackmail letter, he must have been imbued with utter rage. What are you saying? Imbued with rage? Come on, don't tell me you didn't know. Ron the Light was once an employee of KB Security. He was a professional security guard. An employee of KB Security? It looks like the alibi that saved him from being convicted as a thief. It's going to be the noose that gets him hanged. Kind of an anti-alibi. No way! He can't be the thief because he was at the murder scene when the murder occurred. No, that's a lie. It can't be true. But I am the thief, I tell you. Ron the Light, you're going back to prison again. This time, the charge is much more serious. This time you'll be tried for murder. What? This is impossible. I'm looking forward to another exciting showdown, Mr. Trite. You and I aren't through with each other yet. Surely you won't back down from a challenge. You've never been a coward. Mr. Nick, is there something personal between you two? I've returned from the depths of hell to do battle with you. At least, let me have some fun while I'm here. This guy, who the heck is he? He may be quiet, but he's the most dangerous enemy I've ever faced.
Well then, time to say goodbye to Mr. Delight. Nick, how could this be happening? Right in front of our very own eyes. Our client has been arrested for murder. And the one who established his presence at the scene was me. Ah, Ronnie! Arrested for murder. And the very same day, he's declared innocent on larceny. What the heck's going to happen next? To be continued. Ja, Mr. Delight. Er wusste das wahrscheinlich schon und wollte deswegen wollte deswegen der Dieb sein, ungeachtet, ob es jetzt wirklich war oder nicht. Diebstahl ist wahrscheinlich die angenehmere Strafe. Also als Dieb hätte man wahrscheinlich eine angenehmere Strafe als Mörder. Wissen trotzdem nicht, ob es wirklich war. Auf jeden Fall wollte er es zumindest sein. Und wir werden sehen, wahrscheinlich werden wir ihn jetzt auch wieder verteidigen, da uns Godot herausgefordert hat. Und ich nehme mal an, dass wir uns dann im nächsten Gerichtssaal wiedersehen. Ja, aber ich nehme an, jetzt werden wir erstmal ein bisschen investigaten, was es mit KB Security und diesem CEO alles auf sich hat. Also quasi nochmal ein komplett anderer Fall. Ja, und daher seien wir mal gespannt auf die nächste Folge. Bis dahin, macht's gut, Leute. Und tschö.